Welcome back to the INDYCAR series, and it's third season, fourth round here in Australia. I'm just trying to get back to getting used to seeing this field of 22 drivers, but the reigning drivers champion Max Bortcar starting on pole with teammates Daf Sanchez right behind him. Then starting in third position is INDYCAR, best qualifying this season so far for the man from Hong Kong. Linus Eriksson, the qualifying specialist in the 8, starts fourth from Kui and Ray Shen. Then it's Pierre Gasly, Awful Catfish, and Matty Medvec in the 66s in 9th. Running out the top 10, you've got the 11 of Milsos Micah, and in 11th, it's the 10 of Akari Lopez, returning to full-time ERL racing with his own team, Apex Pinnacle. In terms of the points scored by Ghosted, they will go to his name now, as is expected. Then Tommy starts 12th from Hudson and Marino. Then it's Niven Colby, Armand Creole, Carson Thornburg, Lam Thong, and Gabriel Lebogton. In 20th starts Devin Butler. Then it's Wet Coloco, his teammate, to the championship leader, who needs to get at least 1 point on the board today. And then it's Lewis Olsen at the very back of the park. The 29 of Max Bortcar, however, throughout the season, he's flown under the radar mainly. That's the weird thing that we're seeing. Season 23 of Formula E and Season 2 of INDYCAR, they both featured some semi-non-existent title battles. And now we're seeing both of their drivers' champions struggle with their title defenses. So as they now come through the end of the final sector, Bortcar's got everything left to prove, to show to the world that his Season 2 domination was not a fluke, that he is the world-class driver that we all know the 29 as, the Dutch champion, the only Dutch champion of the ERL. Rounds the final turn now, starting on pole. He's got his teammate behind him, and INDYCAR in third. To the line they go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go, racing drivers. Running the first chicane, everyone staying single file as it usually is on the opening lap of an ERL race in INDYCAR, but side by side between the two Penske drivers. I doubt that's what they want to do. They've got to make some moves here to get themselves up into the points. Of the Butler getting up into 19th, this is exactly what he needs to do. We've got most of the pack starting this race on these soft compound tyres in Surface Paradise and Mid-Ohio, which actually had a very similar track to this back in Season 1. Scenes of the biggest crashes in the ERL's history. Daf Sanchez, he's trying to take victory today, and currently there's only been one man who's taken victory in both Formula E and in INDYCAR, and that is Quanto Deroki. Can Sanchez do the same today? We'll find out at the end of this race. But the 72 come into line in the slipstream of his teammate on lap 3. He set the fastest lap. What is the 72 going to do here? Goes side by side, close to the wall, but stays out of it. The two Andretti Green racing drivers, powered by Gainbridge, absolutely putting a lot of distance between each other now, because Sanchez has taken the lead and they're putting so much distance between themselves and INDYCAR. On board we go with Kui as further up. That is Sanchez still in front of Bortcar. Kui in front of Eriksson, who's got a track limits warning, heading through that chicane, and still most of the pack actually keeping it single file, which isn't that bad of an idea. Especially in races like this, you want to stay single file, just to make sure that you don't go side by side into the start of the second sector and absolutely go bananas. Wet Coloco still at the back of the pack for Team Penske. And yeah, for the Penske squad, this wasn't the qualifying day for them. So they're hoping for some good points at the very least. Sanchez, another new fastest lap as his teammates got attack mode, as Kui also getting attack mode and moving up into P3 for the Hyperdrive BBX driver. Boardcar closing in, probably using some of that push to pass, but those soft tyres absolutely graining like nothing that we've seen before. Firestone, our tyre supply, they went quite a bit softer than expected coming into this race, as Shen's gone past his teammate too. Akari Lopez on his return to the ERL. He's trying to get past Catfish here in that 10 car versus the 2, both Formula E champions, of course. Neither of them taking victory, let alone a championship in INDYCAR. But they're familiar with this track in Australia. They're familiar with Australia as a whole. As Akari in that 10, he's looking to make a 10 out of 10 move, but he's not able to do anything just yet. The Andretti boys stay out to start lap 5, but we might see some early stoppers on this very lap, so keep an eye on pit lane, because Catfish is the first man to dive into it. And RQ defending from Quee, Hudson and Thornburg both into the pits. Matty Medvec with a track limits warning. Further back on board we go with the number 25, Gabriella Barkson, another rookie driver being caught up with the strict track limits that we have around this track. So you now head through that chicane. It's a very rapid chicane with the walls very close to you. Tom having to lift there. Tommy having to lift to make sure that he doesn't collide with Milsol Spiker. But aside from that, yes, has been a very clean opening set of laps and a pretty boring past few laps, to be honest with you. The full course caution isn't what we want to see. We don't pray for safety cars or anything like that. But at the same time, they can bring some brilliant strategic opportunities. And you can bring shake-ups of the highest heavens. But we are on board with an OQ, as he's got attack mode on Boardcar, who's got attack mode on Sanchez, as Shen's come into the pits. Tommy and Akari also into the pits, and Akari serving that 5-second time penalty. The 29's tyre is absolutely shot. One of these Andretti drivers is going to have to do 7 laps on their softs, which, in my opinion, does not feel too possible. And OQ goes for the move, and he's not going to be able to make it. Swung way too wide. Lucky to not have hit the wall. And yeah, you can see what I mean. The pack is just really beginning to fan out, which is something that you don't ever see in the ERL. The pack spreading out doesn't really happen. Sometimes you see 2 clusters of packs forming, but never do we see trains form. Boardcar in the slipstream of his teammate, Dav Sanchez, though. Heavy braking for the chicane. One of these drivers is coming in, and it's Sanchez. He gets priority. Boardcar will not be leading on lap 7, though, and OQ takes the lead using the tandem of attack mode and push to pass. But he's still got Boardcar on his inside, close to the wall for the Dutchman once again. They remain side by side, heading into turn number 3. Side by side they remain through 4. The fact that they've been able to keep it out of the wall is amazing, but into this next chicane, they're going to have to keep their wits about them. Side by side they go, almost the wall, but they've still managed to keep it clean. The 25, however, will not hold on to the race lead, but my oh my, that was an impressive display of talent from both drivers, and it's not over yet. On board we go with an OQ, as there's some very dark clouds forming over Australia. If rain falls in this race, that would be another twist in the tail, as an OQ takes the lead after sending it down the inside there. Will Boardcar try and get past 2? I'm not too sure, but it's very overcast out here. We're certainly going to see some rain, I'm sure. In they come, the top 2 both into pit lane, I believe. Or is that Boardcar staying out? Boardcar stayed out! What tyre's going on for an OQ? I think those are green. Those are the Inters. Inters going on for an OQ. Following him in, Colby, Olsen, and Weck Loco. It's raining. Sanchez has to come in for a second stop. So many drivers coming in for their second stop. Boardcar leads from Nassi Medvec and Gabriel Lebargson, the Frenchman, and the man from, checking my notes here, let's just go Eastern Europe because I forgot what country he's from. I'm sorry. But the top 3 all staying out on dry pound tyres on a wet track with 6 laps to go. Now, whether or not this is going to give any major pinch points in terms of the actual racing, we'll find out. All we know is that now attack mode is deactivated. If it gets reactivated, that's how you know that we are beginning to see drying conditions on track. But Akari Lopez came out of the pits at the very back of the pack for a first race back in the ERL. That is so far from ideal. We go on board with the number 33 of Ray Shen, the McLaren driver for Arrow McLaren SP. Hasn't actually had the best of returns to the ERL here. Inter's going on for Borkar, and Okyu's heading down the main straight. He's going to take the lead. And the Hong Kong driver might actually be one of the many to take victory in Formula E and INDYCAR, because remember, Tommy's done it before. Heck, I'm pretty sure he's won in the FG series as well, so that would mean he's done it in all 3 ERL sanctioned leagues. But looking with Borkar, he's got 5 seconds to make up here. And it's all a question of whether or not he can. It would be great to see him be able to do it, but with these conditions, he's going to need to pump in some blisteringly quick lap times. And the way things are going, I don't see that happening. Oh, the crowd's still having a lot of fun today. We're about to start lap 10 of 14 with Inokyu at the head of the pack in round number 5 of ERL IndyCar. No, it's round 4. Sorry, because we've had the first round in Long Beach, then we headed off to St. Petersburg, Florida, and last time out was the Alabama Grand Prix at Barber. And actually, you know what? Inok's actually been caught here. 4 full seconds is the gap. Last lap it was 6. So Borkar is flying. He's setting some very quick sector times because his tyres are a single lap fresher. If he keeps it up, he will be right on the rear of Inokyu by lap 12. But I'm not too sure if he can keep it up. Although you saw there plumes of spray, and that's come off the back of Inokyu. He can see where the 25's been driving, but he hasn't been able to see the 25 in particular. Armand Creel. He was the rookie to look out for in the early stages of the season. Now he and Pinnacle Motorsport really struggling in these conditions, currently 18th and 22nd respectively. And Borkar's rate of progress, by the way, guys, it's slowed. It's now roughly about a second per lap. We saw this time out, we saw the gap shrink to 1 second, so currently it averages out to 1.5 seconds per lap. So will Borkar be able to get past Inokyu? I'm not too sure. We will have to wait and see. Gabriel Lebogtin, however, on the back of Niven Colby, gets alongside and is about to get past the high-speed driver, but that attack charge is only able to do too much. So much if you're not comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with your car, with where your car is, then you're not going to be making the move. But there he goes, Lebogtin, just about now in front of the Malaysian. Lap 12 of 14. This was the lap that I had earlier predicted that Borkar would be all over the back of Inokyu. Right now, it's going to come down to the final few laps if he can continue this rate of progress. But he's going to have to be using a lot more of that battery on the straights. He uses it coming out of the turn, so that's not an inefficient use, and in fact it's gotten him to now within 2 seconds of Inokyu in front. He's actually close. If we were in the dry conditions, Borkar would have attack mode on the 25. He doesn't need it. He's got all the push to pass that a Dutch ERL champion could have. He's 3/10 off the back of INDYCAR. He had to pit the lap after he missed pit entry when the rain officially started falling, and Milsos is off. Milsos Micah off the track with Linus Eriksson. Milsos doesn't have damage, but Eriksson does. Must have been placed into the wall effectively by the Polish driver. Speaking of Polish drivers, I just want to say congratulations to Robert Kubica on winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans. We're on to the penultimate lap now. INDYCAR. He's been hovering under half a second throughout the second half of that lap. And he's really, really hustling INDYCAR here. You can tell if the driver's using attack mode by their rear wing indicators, I believe. Or maybe not. We're going to be on board with INDYCAR, and we're going to wait for him to start using it. But currently, neither of the top two are using it. I feel like for Max, he's going to have to make the pass with attack charge. Or push to pass, as it's known in INDYCAR. As it currently stands, he's not going to be able to make that pass because he's not giving himself the opportunity to. As Creel gets past Eriksson, but gets a time penalty for doing so. Swing for Kui to get past Linus there. But on to the final lap we go. For INDYCAR, this is what he's been waiting for. He's dumping all of that battery as we begin the final lap here. And you can see the rear wing indicators on for both INDYCAR and for Max INDYCAR. That's how you can tell they're using attack, not attack charge, push to pass. They've got to get it right. For INDYCAR, he's doing all he can to close up to the back of INDYCAR in front. And he's run out of a push to pass to use. He's got nothing left. Neither of the top two have anything left. This next move, if there is a move, is going to come down to pure racing grit from the 29. The reigning drivers' champion. He hasn't been able to continue the form from last season into season 3 so far. Into this heavy braking zone, he's got one more opportunity to try and take victory and surface Paridise. But currently, that Paridise belongs to Power Motorsport and the number 25 of INDYCAR, who will come to the line and take victory in Australia. But INDYCAR will take home the fastest lap. The gap at the end of the day, 0.3 of a second for the rookie. Massey Medvec will come home with a P3. Gabriel Lebarton, best career finish of 5th, by the way. Thought I had a puncture for Wet Loco, but too late for it to matter. Catfish steals the fast lap. Micah steals it. So no points for Maxi as the rest of the drivers come across the line. Terrible for Eriksson, though, with that front wing damage. Here is the podium. INDYCAR taking victory from Max INDYCAR by only 0.3 of a second, and Massey Medvec with his first career podium. Then it's Lewis Olsen, Gabriel Lebarton, Nevin Colby, and Daf Sanchez. Wet Loco came home with a P8 finish, not bad for the rookie driver. Then it's Ray Shen, Pierre Gasly, the last of your finishers. Catfish finished in 11th from Dominic Hudson and Milsos Micah. Then it's Devin Butler, Tommy, Carson Thornburg, Kui Lam Fong, Akari Lopez, Bob Marino, Armand Creel, and Linus Eriksson in the driver's standings. The 71 of Devin Butler still heads the pack from Arthur Catfish and Carson Thornburg, who's tied with Gabriel Lebarton. Then it's Max INDYCAR, Linus Eriksson, INDYCAR, Akari Lopez, Bob Marino, Maddie Medvec, and Daf Sanchez. Then it's Kui, Gasly, Creel, Colby, Olsen, Loco, Shen, Micah, Lamfong, and no points have been scored by either Hudson or Tommy. So in the constructors standings, heading into the next round of the championship, Team Penske lead the way from Chip Ganassi and Hyperdrive BBX. Then it's Andretti Green Racing, Power Motorsport, Apex Pinnacle, Meyer Shank Racing, Aaron McLaren SP, AJ Foyt Enterprise, Sims High Speed, and Revolution Racing. We will see you guys next time then when the ERL returns.